And hello, everyone. Orbis Paranormal, Lala Bride, and me, Science Bob, back with this with April and Debs, two psychics that we're going to introduce to you. Maybe one more will join shortly. If so, we'll just have a bigger roundtable. And Lala, what you got?
I wanted to partly to do this because a lot of people don't really know much about what psychics are, or if they're psychic, what to look for. How we all started out. What was the first thing that happened to us that made us realize, okay, we're a little different. Mm-hmm. Things like that, and what they can do to make it better for them, what skills they can work on, what type of psychic they are. So just jump around the whole topic,
That and I didn't believe in you until I was 67 years old. So how do you help people believe earlier?
True. But you guys, April, if you want to start and introduce yourself and promote whatever you want to promote.
Oh, sure. All right. Hello, everyone. I didn't get to meet Deb yet. Hi, Deb.
Hi, April.
I'm We're rude hosts. Just ignore us.
Sorry.
It's good to meet you, too.
Okay, I'm April. I'm known as the Psychic Housewife in New Jersey. I am a psychic medium, remote viewer, just like we were discussing. I get hired to go to haunted locations to tell them what I see. And most of the stuff I pick up is not known to the public or on the internet. Very exciting. I also have my practice where I do readings. I do readings every day. I do shows. I'm also the creator and founder of Ghosted Magazine.
Wow.
Yeah. So have you seen it yet? We're fairly new. Cool. Yeah. We'll talk more about that. So
I had heard, believe it or not, I lived in Princeton for 27 years. So really? I've heard of you, but this is the first time I've seen you.
Oh, I'm so glad you heard of me.
Yeah, I had friends that went to a haunted house thing, and you were involved.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, I've been doing this for years. When I first started out, I started out by myself, before this was a thing. Like most of us, probably you too, Deb, you guys too. But how big it's come, we're out of the closet now.
Along with UFO believers and everything else. And now, last but not least, is our super friend. We love her so, Deb Shakti. Debs, tell us all about what's going on.
Well, I was born this way. So I thought everybody received information the way I did when I was a kid. I didn't know I was different until right before I went to school. And it became very apparent that, my parents and relatives were trying to, up till then, they thought I was just highly creative and imaginative and smart. And, but, I got to be 3, 4, 5 years old, and I was not just, receiving people's thoughts and speaking to, ETs, spirits, what people would call ghosts, people who had crossed over. But I was also able to perceive and manipulate energy, especially people's energy fields. And so even as a little small child, people would have, they'd bring their hurt puppy over to see if I could help it feel better, or their grandma or whatever. So, the energy work started then too. But I thought everybody did that, and I just thought they liked me better. So I didn't know. Yeah. And then, once it was time to start going to parochial school, I was told to shut that off. That's not something you talk about in school. That's and I did get sent home a couple of times by the nuns. So I started to navigate the public waters that way and realized, wow, none of my little friends are seeing that person over there, that's standing next to teacher, or, none of my little friends or none of my brothers and sisters at the time were seeing, that ET over here. And certainly no one seemed to be hearing all the things from everybody else's minds that I was. And it was kind of cacophonous. It was a little bit confusing when I was a child. So thank goodness I did learn how, with some of the guidance of the people I was interacting with who weren't in the physical, how to kind of tune that down a little bit and to be able to discriminate between that kind of information and information coming from physical beings. So, yeah, I've always done this work, and I'm about straight down the middle, half science and half spirituality. And so I went through school studying all the sciences. I still study science. I'm actually taking coursework in neuroscience the last couple of years. So just to round out my skills, but I went into clinical psych and learned all about that and became a hypnotherapist. And then, fast forward, I decided to get out of clinical work and put all of this together in work that I call quantum transformation work. I'm a quantum hypnotherapist, of course, a psychic, medium, and I channel, and I do energy work and 1,000 other things, lifelong yogi, meditation teacher, yoga teacher, all that stuff. So it all kinds of goes together in a comprehensive package. And like April, I get called often to go to spaces that are haunted or that have entities, or, even spaces. I do a lot of work now for businesses who maybe they want to sell their property and no one will look at it, even though it's a fantastic property. And I go in and there, of course, are beings there who don't want to leave, or the energy is not quite right. So I get in and go in and communicate with them and help them either cross over or move on, clear the energy, and then of course the place sells. So I do a lot of that, and I do homes too. But and I've recently, in the last few years, gotten really interested in doing the paranormal investigation work. I don't get to do it a lot because I'm so busy, but it's fascinating for me to go in and see just the enormous amount of different various beings, who reside with us in this,
Yeah.
in this.
You know what? I always say that wherever we go, we're going to find spirits.
Absolutely.
Wherever-
Coming from the quantum perspective, everything exists in one place forever all at once.
Mhm.
So, but it depends on how your frequency is as to what you're perceiving, right?
Yeah.
And so they're always here, but we don't bump into them or notice them unless we're kind of in a matching
If you
frequency.
tune into it. You got to tune
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Like with shutting down and everything like that, I can go about my day until I sit here, or if I know I'm going to work at a location or where I'm hired to go from doing one of my shows, that's when I tune in. But as far as that, as soon as I walk away,
Oh yeah.
mass murderer could walk past me.
My spidey senses might go off if there was a mass murderer, but I'm the same as you.
I'm
it's
done
kinda
when I'm
like,
done.
yeah, it's kind of like I know when I can control it better, where I can
Yeah.
tune in and or focus more on like my family life or
Yeah.
my
That's very
workout
important.
or
That's
whatever.
why I make sure I control that. That was the
Yeah.
main thing, is my family. But I gotta tell you, my husband, who's my biggest supporter, and I just do my regular readings. I do my crossing over readings, my psychic readings. But so one day I was telling somebody this the other day. He goes to me, he goes, you should start doing, world events. I said, oh no, I don't want to open that can of worms.
Ooh.
It's just too much for me,
Yeah.
And so the next morning I wake up and I'm sitting here at my desk and I said, all right, guys, what you got for me? And I hear active shooter. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm.
But then in the same breath, now they show me my daughter. So
Oh
I
my.
panic. So I said, all right, I'm imagining, and you know this because we do this.
Yes.
To read ourselves is difficult. So I'm like,
Yes.
I'm imagining this, so I stop what I'm doing. But I hear, like, after I'm like freaking out, it goes, she'll be far away. And I'm like, all right, I'm imagine. I just wouldn't think about it. Well, she's 19 at the time. She was 18. That night at 9:00, I get a call from her, and pick up the phone, and she goes, "Mom, there's an active shooter." I fell to my knees. She goes, "But I'm far away."
Oh my god.
Wow.
When I hung up the phone with her, I looked at my husband and I cursed at him. Don't you ever do that to me again.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
We have what people don't understand is like we don't get all the details.
No.
So imagine knowing this, and this is teaching me a lesson because I'm not going to know what day, what time. I will go crazy.
Yeah.
I will lock that kid and to her bed.
Yeah. I think the real key here is to stay out of the fear state at
Yeah.
all times, no matter how
Yeah,
crazy
but when it's
or
personal,
scary it
it's
is.
different.
Oh, no, I know. When it's your own kid, you're like,
Yeah.
you
Because I
know,
even tell people when I'm doing readings, I'm like, listen, I am not going to be emotional during this reading, so please forgive me. I don't want you to
Yeah.
think I'm have no feelings, but
Right.
I step outside of myself of the emotion to
yeah,
give
I stay very neutral
Yeah.
like you.
But
Absolutely.
when it's personal, oh no way.
Ugh.
There's
Yeah.
no, especially your child.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you will fight till the teeth and
oh
to
my
the death for
God.
that.
But
Oh,
like every morning, like I and every night I just, I protect them, I put them around protection, like
of
the
course.
cars, everything,
Mhm.
but that I will never, ever do again.
Will you guys tell whoever's listening how they can protect themselves and people they love what they could do? Because a lot of people don't really know what to do.
Oh, to do what?
To protect
Protection?
yourself and others, do you imagine like a light around them or
Yeah, like a light. I draw a light down to
Yeah.
me and to them. I see it over them, and then you put them in that bubble.
Oh
And
my
it's
gosh, you just said
Yeah.
what I use. I call it the impermeable bubble of love and
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
And I've taught it for years and years. In fact, if anybody wants it, it's free on my website. It's in the tutorials, but
what's your
it's
website?
debshakti.com. But
It's real easy to do. It's
yeah.
really easy to do. Listen, I always say, like you talk about magic spells, our words are
Are
the
the
spell.
spell.
Yeah.
So
Well,
all you have to do,
intentions and desire and
Yeah.
lots of put your heart into it is
Mhm.
yeah,
all.
everything is from here, from the
It
heart,
is. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The way I do the impermeable bubble is I have people kind of go through just a simple exercise to balance all of their chakras, their energy centers, but then get to the heart and pull up the most loving, joyful, fun memories you can, or even ideas, and really feel them in your body, give it all its sensory information, colors, textures, sounds, smells, everything, and fill that bubble up with that light. Put the bubble around you, let it come from your heart, fill it up with all those good memories. And then what it does is it transmits that out. It not only protects you, but anything trying to come at you that is not that frequency or above,
Oh yeah.
it bounces back to the person, but it's infected by your goodness, by that love. It bounces back and affects them. So it's really like, it's more than a force field. It's actually a field or a force for good as well. So,
Well, I always tell people, like, people say, people, these psychics that tell them they got a curse on them. Or I say, like, people that are talking bad about you,
yeah.
talking smack. I always say, let me tell you something. It actually, when that negative energy is coming at us, our bodies naturally transmute that into positive energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we're already, you might feel a little off if it's a lot coming at you. You might feel a little off. You might even feel a little stomach ache, a little ill. But let me tell you something. I would say that's why I love haters. Hate me because you're going to elevate
And
me.
Gonna get infected.
Yeah, yeah. That when you're throwing negative energy at somebody, it is gonna. Our bodies are naturally gonna protect us, and it's gonna be transmuted into positive energy,
Yeah,
and we're gonna bounce it back to you. You know.
absolutely.
But when
I
you're in a
think that's,
hateful state, it's it's hard to get to you.
oh, I know. And I think that's some of the best work that we do,
Yeah.
notwithstanding all of the cool information that we can get, receive, and transmit to others, and
Mhm.
distribute. But just being that beacon of light, walking around
Yeah.
on the earth, if you're conscious of it all the time, it's very powerful. So I really love that part of this. And it's something I teach everybody I work with. Like, this is key. This is number one thing. Be that force for good. And then, good things will happen. But
Sometimes you gotta zap people. No,
oh yeah. I've
just
been calling it
humble them. To
I've been
humble
calling
them.
it a tsunami of love. So the higher you are in the negative spectrum, or the lower, the bigger the tsunami is going to come at you. So
Yeah.
Have you guys ever? I like hearing people's stories of weird stuff that's happened, or because I've had some really strange things happen to me paranormally. And what's the most strangest thing that you guys have ever encountered in your whole life?
oh my God. I don't
How
even
do you
know where
take
to,
out the thousands?
I
Hey,
don't
come on.
even know where to
You gotta know one. Come
All
on.
right.
All
I
right,
can
April,
say,
come
I
on.
go to so I go like I get calls to go to people's homes that are haunted. So this is just one of them. But I remember talking to a lady on the phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I know what she's got. And it's like one of my biggest fears. The creepy crawly woman. This is how I've seen it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Runs.
so I'm not gonna tell her on the phone because I don't want to scare her. So I drive to the house and hey Jen. So I get to the house and I walk past her. I said, I walk right in, I go into the kitchen and I go by her shelves. I said, things are being knocked off. She goes, yeah, things are just like kind of in slow motion falling. So I said, listen, I said, I want to scare you. And I tell her, I said, it's this creepy crawly lady. I said, but she's making herself appear that way. So I'm walking around the house and I get into the master bedroom. And as I walk in, this older woman starts pushing me out. She's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. So I turn to the girl. It's a spirit. I said, who's Claire? She goes, oh, that's my mom. She died last year. I said, well, she's protected, won't let anyone in this room. She goes, this is where we all sleep ever since it started. So I said, well, she's protecting you because she's even kicking me out. So, I'm walking around the house and I said, are you hearing scratch? I hear scratching and banging on the floor in the living room. So I said, take me downstairs. So I go downstairs and I'm walking around and I find the creepy crawly woman. And I start talking to her, and she turns, she goes back into human form. She explains to me that she had lived there with a husband, but she had mental illness. So she went crazy. They had to put her in a home. And, so he sold the home and he's passed out. She came back looking for him. So as I'm telling, I said, listen, you've got to go. He is on the other side. Go to him. And with that, and I didn't even initiate this. All of a sudden, this big ball of light appeared. This is the only second time I've seen this. Holy crap. And it sucked her right in. Sucked her right in.
love it.
It was beautiful, though. She's going to heaven, but holy cow,
That's amazing.
yeah. But seeing that light, I was just telling somebody about that today, the light. This is the second time I've seen that light. It's crazy, but beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The light comes a lot. I mean, I used to just call it, because I was a little kid going to parochial school, I called it Jesus. I thought that was Jesus.
Yeah, baby Jesus was my imaginary friend, but he
Yeah.
wasn't imaginary.
No, he wasn't. He was real. But, as I got older, I learned the word portal. And so that's really what it is. It's almost just like a wormhole that goes from this reality, to the higher realms where you're going to go and have like your life review and meet your loved ones and then decide what it is you want to do next and all of that stuff. But for me, it always looked like kind of like what's behind you, like a spinning galaxy, Lala and Bob. In fact, I almost put a green vortex behind me tonight, and I'm glad I didn't, because we would have been too much
Oh,
twins.
twins with you is okay.
That's all right. But yeah, I can't even pick one. I've got so many weird ones. I did have one time a family. It was a very wealthy couple who had a very large family. I think they had like 6 kids, and they lived in a true mansion. And at first, they just wanted me to come and sit and talk to the children because they were having nightmares, and there were some creepy things happening in the house and everything. Now that we're on the subject of houses, it made me think of this. And so I went and you know, and of course they had the 1/4-mile driveway with the fences and all that. As soon as I went in that driveway, I just felt all of this sorrow and anger and all kinds of like just chaos. And yet there's this beautiful, perfectly manicured lawn and this beautiful house. And so we get in there, and we're sitting around the table and talking to all the children. Some of them were little children up to almost college age, because, you know, they had a large family. And most of the kids said that they saw scary people in the house at night, mostly at night, in the basement, in the rec room, and in their bedrooms. And that these scary people, you know, didn't look like us. They looked muddy. They looked bloody. Their clothes were torn, all this stuff. And I was just, you know, as soon as I walked in the house, I'm like, it just hit me, you know, something really horrible happened here. Well, as I was sitting with all of them and listening, some of them showed up. And then I went ahead and toured the house, because I go in usually and I try to clear or talk or communicate with the beings, especially down in that. Well, they had a sub basement and then a basement. It was all finished. It was real beautiful. But this basement where they had their wine collection, behind the wine cabinets that were holding all the wine bottles, there was a being, and it showed itself to me, and it was like Native American. You know, it was Native American, and it was a younger man, a male, but it was, again, muddy, like had been in a swamp with moss and stuff hanging off of it, and bloody, and had a big bloody wound here. And I just said, "What's happened to you?" And he said, "All of those white people came and murdered all of us and took our land. And they murdered the bison, the buffalo. I can't remember what he called the tatanka. He said they murdered the tatanka. And they killed our babies, and they shot me right here." And I said, "Well, why are you still here?" And he said, "Because we haven't resolved the issue. It's still going on." And as soon as he said that, I saw this huge diorama of a battle right there. And the house was on a hill, you know, out in the prairie. This was in Kansas. House was on a big hill. And this huge diorama of basically a slaughter of this tribe. And it was, you know, American cavalry people. And they literally slaughtered them, but not even in the way you see in the movies, you know, just shooting them. They literally chopped them up and did all kinds of things. It was just a horrible thing. So anyway, I said, "Well, you know, you don't have to continue living through this. It's over. Would you like to move on and be with the Great Spirit?" Because I always try to mirror what I think the people's, you know, verbal style and when they lived and everything. I said, "Would you like to move on and live with the Great Spirit?" And he said, "Not till they're all dead." And I said, "Well, they are all dead. None of them are alive in the body anymore." And I tried to, you know, project that to him. And so we talked for a while, and he said, "Well, we'll have to talk to our chief and see what he says." And so, you know, by then I'd been there like 6 hours, and the kids were tired, and we were going to, you know, close it off for the night. And I promised to come back and clear the house. but they didn't. They're very busy people, and they didn't have time, and they were leaving for spring break to go skiing the next day in Colorado. And the mother said, "Thank you for coming. The children feel so much better. I feel so much better." The husband said, "Thank you." And then we made an arrangement for me to come back in about 10 days to clear the house and help everyone move into the light, because they were starting to just come out of the woodwork. And so I blessed everything. I tried to put a protective blessing on everything and everyone. And sure enough, they went, skiing. And in the middle of the night, the next night, I got a call, woke me out of a dead sleep. And the father said, "We just got a notification from the fire department, the police department, and everybody else in the area that our house is literally tearing itself apart." And at first he said, "Our house is on fire, but also all the water's pipes have broken." And this was still, spring break here. Sometimes it's still 0 degrees outside. It's cold. And that was one of those winters. It was a late winter. And he said, "I just wanted you to know that all that chaos must be coming to a head or something. I don't know what to do, but we can't get back there. Can you go out there tomorrow and see what happened?" And that house literally tore itself apart. Every pipe was burst. Everything had burned to the ground other than the stonework, the masonry work. And there was just nothing left. And so I stood there for a while. They were still working on it. And I tried to communicate, and I said, "What happened?" And that male came back and he said, "We decided to take it into our own hands. And this was the way we decided to resolve it, because white people are still taking our land from us." And I said, "Well, you understand, these were good people. These are good people. They would never do that to you." And so it's a long story, but eventually we worked it out, and all of them, the Native Americans and the cavalrymen, all got moved to the light. It was the hugest thing I've ever had to do. It was hundreds of people. But after that, they started rebuilding. They raised everything, started rebuilding, and they've never had a problem since. But it was devastating. It was sad and scary. I mean, I'm never afraid, but it was very scary for them, And the fire department couldn't believe it. They just couldn't believe it. They're like, they never found any reason for the fires to start. And we knew why the pipes burst, because once the building started burning, the weather, the temperature was, they were exposed. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. Millions of dollars just down the tube. So
Wow.
yeah, it's still a big thing on my mind. But we're still friends. I've gone there many, many times for parties and stuff, and the energy is just fine. There's nobody there anymore who's angry or upset. So
Have you
Yeah.
guys found that when you do readings that a lot of spirits do think they're still in their own time, and they don't realize that? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I know what you're saying. I only find that at haunted locations and a lot of homes that I do. But a lot of them, sometimes a lot of it will be residual too. We're in watching
Yeah.
a time from the past. When I did the one episode on the Holzer files, and when they called, now this is where the remote viewing comes into play. They had called me up and asked me if I've ever been to the Lambert Castle, and I said no. So automatically I'm there, and I said to them, "But I could tell you what's going on there." I said, "People are seeing a woman in white walk around the place." And so now I said, let me go there and see the location and see what I pick up. The place was closed. It's a museum now. So I start walking around it, and I found the place where I saw the woman in white that I saw. And I saw her at these coming from these trees going up against a stone wall where she like would meet this man, and she like met this man, and the man disappeared, and then she was like devastated, like where'd he go, and she disappears. So as I'm walking around the castle, I hear a woman sobbing uncontrollably. And I said to myself, I said, I know that cry. It's somebody lost a child. So with that, now this is where the remote viewing comes in. So all of a sudden I am in this room with this woman in this bedroom, and it's an old middle-aged woman, and she's crying. She looks up at me and she goes, I'm not who they think I am. And I said, oh, I know what you're saying. People thought this woman that I was seeing was the woman in white. Now let me fast forward. I go to film with Dave Schrader. So I'm walking up the stairs, and as I'm turning, there's a picture on the windowsill there, and it's the woman in white. I said, that's her. And they said, that's the Lambert's daughter, Isabella, when she got married. So now I move up and I'm talking to Dave, and I'm telling him the story of what I picked up and everything. And I said, that picture is, the woman I saw. He goes, that's Isabel. Mrs. Lambert, who I was talking to in the bedroom, lost 5 of her children, including Isabel.
Oh my
God.
Now, wait, let me tell you. So now I was telling about hearing the crying of the woman from that bedroom, and I'm showing him it's that bedroom down there. Now, fast forward, I'm not there. It's Dave Schrader, Shane Pittman, and Cindy Kazar doing their investigation. And what do they hear? A woman crying from that bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's some of Dave's best work in Holzer Files.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, it was really he and
that was a great show.
He and the Holzer inheritor of all that, playing those tapes, they were magnificent.
Oh my God. I mean, I love Holzer.
I recommend everybody in our audience go watch the Holzer Files with Dave Schrader. He and the living people who still own everything did a great job with it.
Yes. Let me tell you, I don't know, like I was talking to Dave about this like later on, because we did events together, and I said, it was such a great show. I mean, it's Hans Holzer, but I think the younger generation doesn't know Hans Holzer either. He told them, he said, unless you have the word ghost in the title, it's not going to make it. And I think he was right, because it was so well done. And it was quick. You know what? I like instant gratification. I don't know about everybody else. I hate when it's straight. I can't watch when people are live doing their investigations. I'm like, oh my God, just get to the good stuff. That's what it's about. They're like, boom, 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 tell you what's going on, show you the evidence. And it was great. And I love that. It was a good show, but it was based on Hans Holzer's cases.
His audio tapes, yeah.
Nice.
It was.
Have you read any of the books?
Because I read the books, so I was, when I saw this was coming out and that Dave was going to do it, I really got all into it. I really wanted to hear the audio tapes rather than just read the books.
Right.
Yeah, right. Dave's great. Then
we had our own treat. We moved into this house together when we started living together, and stuff started happening, poltergeist activity, rapping on the walls, all this other stuff. And we knew it was Native American land in Maryland near the Susquehanna River. So I got a camera, security cameras, and just put one right out here, pointing at the front door. And one night, between 2:30 and 3 in the morning, something walks by, because you can hear the footsteps, and flips on the light, and the camera goes from night mode to day mode, and then the clearest, most perfect EVP you ever heard in your life is her deceased boyfriend saying hello to their son.
Yeah.
Our son's name is Xander, and he goes, "Hello, Xander."
No.
Oh, it was amazing.
You
should send it to her so she can hear it.
I want to see this.
It's so amazing.
it's in our files on Facebook. I'll send it specially to you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I would love to
Oh,
see.
it's a
Oh my God, I love
perfect-
that.
It's
Perfect.
one of the clearest EVPs I've ever
Class A
heard.
EVP. Oh my God.
And she
Yeah.
recognized his voice and his playful, trying to sound like he was doing the radio.
He always
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
As soon as she said, "Oh, that's Dave."
Yeah.
Oh wow,
And
that's
last night, my son's 14, and 3 years ago, his dad passed from cancer, and he said my son isn't really into this. It's not cool, but he puts up
yeah.
with it.
My daughter hates it too.
Yeah.
And he goes, Mom,
Deb knows, right?
right?
Yep.
He says something.
Two
kept playing
sons, they don't like it.
Right? Yeah.
No. He accused me of being outside of his door whistling and waking him up.
But he
Oh.
wasn't.
I was sound asleep.
And Dave loved whistling songs. And Dave's birthday's coming up April 16th.
In a week,
Oh my
we're expecting a big birthday party.
I was going to say, buckle up,
Buckle up for the birthday party.
buckle up.
wow, that's awesome. Oh, somebody
Yeah.
saying I want to see that. Man, I want to see that. Tammy Johnson.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
on
yeah,
your
we know
Facebook.
Tammy.
Yeah,
We know
it's in your
Tammy. You
Facebook
listen to you,
file.
Tammy.
But yeah, to circle back and answer your question, like I'm right there with you, April. The houses, the properties that they think are haunted, that those people almost always do not know that they're either not dead or they don't know that they can leave.
Yeah.
They're just kind of locked in, right?
Oh,
to
some
a
don't
type.
want to leave.
Yeah,
some
they
don't.
don't want to leave. And then
And humans have free will.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I always tell people that when I come in, I say, I can't guarantee I'm going to get rid of them because if they want to stay, they're going to stay.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, when I do that, what I do is I communicate with them and ask them, because there's always a reason. There's a parallel, for me anyway, there's a parallel thing going on in the people who are experiencing this lives and the person or people on the other side. There's some kind of similar thing, or they wouldn't perceive each other. There's I call it bleed through, when they
Yeah.
perceive each other. And so often we'll find that whatever was the unresolved thing that is keeping that person or people there is a similar, at least, energy signature in the person or people who are living in that space or working in that space now. And once we figure it out, it's almost like it dissipates, and they can easily leave if they feel like they don't feel like they have to be there anymore. It's almost like that is the reason why they stay there. But as far
I'm
as
going to tell you what I find. This is very interesting. And over the years, like I've been doing this for 30 years, but a lot of haunted locations that have a lot of spirits, I notice this at almost every location I've been at because I can sense it before I go there. There is a non-human entity, and I would go before I go to these places or the locations. In the beginning, I thought when I got there, I'm like, I don't feel it anymore. It left because of me, and I'm like, because I'm a badass, Well, you know what? Lo and behold, they were hiding because they stay there. Unless I get rid of, if I can cross these humans over. Now, the haunted locations, the famous places, this is where I met one of them. Now, this is a creepy story. And this is at the Shanley Hotel. So Kelly brings me, this is years ago. They never used to let anyone down in the basement. So she brought me down there. She goes, I want to see what you see. So she brings me down there. There's a couple of people with us. And I'm like, she's like, what do you see? I said, there's a lanky, tall man with a bloody devil's head. And all of a sudden, this thing, and he's not human. He's not human. He was never human. He never walked this earth. He starts like spinning around or running around. Well, he changed my whole frequency. And it was it messed up my whole body that I said, I can't stay down. And I ran upstairs, I said, because I feel nauseous. Now, as I'm sitting up there, this thing, just like on Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, comes through the wall like as if it was rubber, and
Oh
tells
yeah,
me,
isn't that
I am
weird?
not here for the living. He's telling me to back off. This is
Oh,
not my place.
yeah.
And what I call him, he is the soul collector.
Mhm.
These things are non-human, and they are at every haunted location where there are a lot of spirits, and it fools them and it lies to them not to go into the light. And they're scared, so they
Wow.
listen to, because when a spirit is here too long, they become confused.
Right,
They
they
have
do.
lost touch with their human side, so they
They
can't
become
remember.
disoriented.
So
Yeah.
then they, this thing is telling them not to go into light, that it's bad, that they're going to hell. And a lot of them don't want to cross over because of the bad things that they've done here. And it could be something so minute, like, like say that they think was bad, but essentially would never put somebody in a bad location. Guys, I got to tell you, there's really not a hell. There's where we go through a space. It's in heaven, but we're a little outside of it, where we
Yeah.
go through a life review. God just wants you to see, or whatever you believe of what you did, how you treated people, when you were mean, how it affected that person. That
Mhm.
person went home angry and took it out on this person. And it goes down to generations. To be humble to see what you've done, and also the kind things that you've done, how that
Yes.
affected that person, your kindness, what that did, and it kept going on and repeated itself. But so now that's why I would say, like, people, I don't, when I tell these stories, don't think you're going to get stuck. You will not get stuck.
Right.
These are famous haunted locations with bad people in it. But so with that guy that I got to meet that day, I all of a sudden my brain went back 30 years to every location I've been at in the private homes, and I said,
Yeah.
it's always been there.
Yeah.
And I thought my presence got rid of it because I'm pretty tough. I'm Italian, I'm Sicilian, and I'm from Jersey, so I'm pretty much not afraid of anything. So I thought this thing left
I'm not
on its
either.
own. So I'm no badass. This thing scared the shit out of me. Let me tell you. And I've encountered some bad stuff. I've had rocks thrown at me. I have been thrown, grabbed, touched, pinched.
Same.
Yeah, so, and
Same.
I love it.
I'm not. Yeah, me too. I'm not afraid. I'm really not afraid of anything because I know there's no death, and so none of it. They can shock me once in a while,
Yeah,
but they
we
can't
know
hurt
there's
me.
no death, but you know what? When it comes to our time, let me tell you, I'm gonna be scared too. What if I was wrong? No, what if they lied to me? All these spirits,
I've had two near-death experiences, so I know what I know what I know. So that makes a big difference. So
but you're still, like, listen, we rationalize. We're humans, so we rationalize. I want to be rationalized. All right, maybe I imagine that too. I really didn't die. It was a dream. Like, like we're human.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I tell people, I don't know if I'm going to cross over because I'm going to be one of those, because I'm a helicopter mom. She's 19 now. I'm telling you, I'm not leaving this
boy.
child.
Yeah.
I can help her better on the other side, but I'm like, I'm not leaving. No,
She better start treating you right now, right?
I tell her, I'm not leaving you. I'm never leaving.
Oh,
I'd say my first kind of house thing was I went to Avenel House in Bedford, Virginia, when I was on the faculty at Virginia Tech, and it was supposedly a haunted house.
Bob, I'm very impressed with you.
And these people were going to go visit and do a ghost hunt in there. So I just went for the heck of it. So it was kind of quiet and not much was happening. We got toward the end of the hour, and we were in this room trying to make contact and hear something. And we could hear the other group. There were two groups. The other group, quote, the other group, unquote, in the hall outside talking. So we were grumpy. So we wrapped it up. We went downstairs and we grumped at the other group for making the noise in the hall.
Mm.
We weren't up there. They had already gone down.
Oh,
we heard people walking in the hall and talking outside the door.
Wow.
So we never could figure out if it was residual haunting or intelligent.
Yeah.
I couldn't, but it was It was very audible. I
Oh my God, that's so
I recorded.
awesome. And meanwhile,
I
you're
love it.
pissed at these people.
It's
Bob's
fun.
walking around, freaking people.
Yeah.
In my investigation,
Wait till I
I
just give them a
see
piece
them.
of my mind. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be throwing some throat punches.
But to get back to that, the original idea, yeah, when there's a difference between it being a haunted place and like, I'm sitting with a client and they say, I wish I could speak with my mom. I wish I could. And I'm like, she is right there. And, and you know how this goes, Lala, you do this all the time. She's right there. And here's what she's saying. Or in my case, a lot of the time, they just use my body and my vocal cords and they just speak through me. And I just kind of get out of the way and I don't remember it. But those people are not stuck here for the most part. They're not stuck here at all. They're here for a purpose, to give a message or to help or to comfort or, any number of things. A lot of the times it's weird little things like, a widow just recently, said, I keep feeling like I want to speak with my deceased husband, but I can't hear him. And he just came right in and started talking to her. And she said, why don't you go into the light? He's like, I'm in the light, but I'm trying to tell you where the will is, because you never knew where. She never did any of that stuff.
Yeah.
He had took care of all of their bills and their
Yeah.
banking
I
and all
love
that.
those stories with the husbands. It's
Was so cool. He's like, I just want to tell you where the will is. And she, and that was validated. She went right there and there it was. And she had no idea,
I've
she
had
didn't
stuff
even know
like
anything
that.
about it.
I read for a granddaughter, a very famous mobster that told me where the money was.
Oh my goodness, that's
And
fabulous.
they found it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know it's crazy, that stuff. But you want to hear a funny story? I was reading for this woman, right? So everyone knows there's Psych House up in New Jersey. And I don't know what this lady promoted me as. It was a private event they hired me for. And this woman comes in and she looks at me. She goes, you're not the Long Island medium. He said, why? Is she coming? I'm like, I want to meet her too. So I knew, I'm like, oh my God, this lady's going to be a pain in the ass because she was expecting Teresa. I don't know where the hell she got that from. But anyway, she sits down. I said, so I'm saying, oh my God, please give me good information. Give me good information. So I'm arguing in my head, and all of a sudden the husband comes through. Oh, I said, all right. I said, your husband's passed. I said, I said, and then I hear him, he goes, ask her about her shoes. Like there was something odd about her shoes. I said, now I'm behind a desk, so she's like in front of me, so I didn't see her. So, yeah, right? Damn straight. No, I'm not messing with that money. This guy was a badass. The whole family is. Staten Island, I just want to say that. So I said, your husband's saying something about your shoes. He's telling me that there's something different about your shoes. So she lifts up her legs and they're loafers. I have loafers. And I'm like, oh. I said, they're not weird looking. She goes, they're his. And I said, so I said, oh my God. I said, how do you feel about that? I said, pretty good, huh? We don't need to. She goes, well, if you could tell me what I ate for lunch yesterday, I'd be impressed. I said,
come on.
You know what I do? We're done. So I stand up. I said, we're done. And she goes, no, please. I said, nope, we are done. I said,
I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I don't do the carnival act.
Yeah, no,
I'm like,
get out.
I'm not a carnival act.
No, I said he left.
The best I got was my grandmother came to visit her and sat in her car and followed her around for a week.
Even in the grocery store.
Even at the grocery store, my little 5'2" Southern accent so thick she can't understand her.
Unnerving. Poor
Oh my
thing.
God, that's crazy.
And that's my grandma. Gave her the side eye for a week.
Oh my gosh. She was checking you out.
She was. What would make people in a coma able to contact? I've contacted people in a coma. I've had conversations with people in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people with deep
Explain that.
Alzheimer's who
Yeah.
don't, you know,
can-
when I go in there,
yeah.
the weather's fine.
Are they
I
like
can also-
are they like on astral projection or something when
Yeah.
they're in a coma?
Yes, there's something like that.
Mhm. They're in
And-
a higher level of frequency. Is all.
They're out, but I can have perfect conversations with them. I
Same.
can even get into well, don't call me for this, but I can, the girlfriends are going to be calling me, but I can see what people are thinking in their heads, like if I'm doing a reading for someone, I'm telling you this is what he is in his head right now,
Yeah.
So don't call me because you want to know what your boyfriend's doing. They're like, Bob, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't know boyfriend. He might have an anger issue.
Oh, I've had that. Listen,
Oh, I bet.
listen. I have now. I did an event where a guy came to see me with his girlfriend. I said, I will not do two people
No.
at the same time.
I don't like
So-
that.
So, well, one guy. Wait. I want to tell you. This one guy comes up to me, wanted a reading, and let me tell you something. In the pit of my stomach, this guy made me sick to my stomach. I didn't want him. I automatically became angry. And I said, I can't read you. He's like, why not? I said, because I don't want to. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm mad at him. So he's like, bang. And it's like, I want you to read. I'm like, dude, get out of here. But he had to be escorted out. This guy was violent.
Wow.
Made me sick to my stomach. I don't
Mhm.
know what I didn't want to know. I wanted him away from me. So now, this is the same day. A guy and a girl come to the boyfriend was insisting that he sits in on with his girlfriend. I said, no, I will not do two people at the same time. I can't. And so anyway, I said, you go first, the boyfriend. So he sits down. I said, you idiot. I said, do you want me to tell her about your girlfriend, your other girlfriend?
Oh my God.
Oh.
Ooh, you're brave.
So you know what? Because he thought she was cheating. I said, she's not cheating. It's you. It's your guilty conscience.
Yeah, he's projecting.
Right.
By the way, April, you have much better hair than Teresa. Sorry.
Okay.
That's absolutely true.
Deb, can I tell you, I've been looking at your hair all night. I love your hair.
Oh, well, thank you. This is 68-year-old hair that I don't do anything
No, it's
to anymore.
absolutely gorgeous, your hair.
Thank
The
you.
color, everything, the cut. I've been looking at your hair all night.
Oh, well, thank you. It's just it's natural state now. So
Oh, it's beautiful. And plus you got the beautiful blue eyes,
oh well, thank you, darling. Thank you. That's really sweet. But I
Well-
you started talking about Teresa. I'm like, girl.
I'm feeling left out.
Oh, it's okay. You have other very wonderful.
Oh my God,
attributes.
Bob. Like PhD, what else do you have under that belt? I'm so impressed by you.
my
I've led a
goodness.
life. I've led a life. It's been a long, eventful, happy, working life.
Yeah. Oh my God. But to write about your life story, you need to write a book.
Oh, everybody tells me that.
Yeah.
And so much of it I can't ever write.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
I'll wait till I'm on my deathbed and then do it.
I'll
No,
come visit.
do
You
it
will
now.
record it, and then I'll write it. How's
And
that?
Lala can release it then, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Write it now, and we'll release it posthumously.
Ross Coulthard, he is the investigative journalist that's better at digging stuff up about people like me than anyone I've ever met. So he interviewed me and he just knew all of this really classified stuff.
No.
And at the end of it, he was, all I want, Bob, is I want to write the biography.
Yeah. Let him
And
do it.
He's
Let him
really
do
famous. He's really famous in the UFO groups now.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
wow.
I have led the wildest life.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I was an MC at a paranormal UFO convention in oh my God, what's the name of it? New York?
Pine Bush.
Pine Bush.
Pine Bush.
Oh yeah,
that's
Pine
great.
Bush. Awesome.
Yeah.
I bet you had a lot of fun. That's
Yeah, it was fun.
that's my happy place is the ET. Well, I'm all about consciousness, and it's just
Yeah,
consciousness.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I seem to be more known as, the ET UFO contact girl,
Yeah,
which is,
that's awesome.
that's just the way it's kind of funneled down over the last,
Well, that
10
happened to
years.
Lala because that was her hooking up with me. Until then, all she ever did was read people's deceased.
I know.
Well, I would pick up on energies, but I thought it was just a different type of spirit. I didn't understand it was a different type of being altogether. They just
Mhm.
Oh no! Oh, I know, right?
Mhm.
I don't like them. I don't like because they have better mind control.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're very adept at that.
Oh
Very.
yeah, that's why I'm not messing with them. As soon as I feel it, I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I'm out of here.
Aw.
Yeah.
And that's when I party. So
Yes, that's your thing, Deb.
it's so
Yeah, I don't
funny.
mess with them.
It's so funny.
I
I have a
run.
great time.
And
Well,
I've seen so many UFOs.
She claims she has alien Xanax when they're around, but when people spirits come around, they scare her.
Yeah.
Those people spirits, it's more emotion. With the,
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
so
with the
much
aliens,
emotion.
they numb me down completely.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. You know, like
Yeah.
I would say with my friend, she's a medium too, and I will not stay by her house because I know aliens visit that property.
Mhm.
I can't. I don't want to deal with them. I just you know what they have more of that control, that mind control that we have not mastered yet.
Yeah. Well, they're so far. Most of them are so far advanced from us that it's
Oh,
really hard, there it's just leagues between us as far as understanding. But the main message I always get, and this is from all beings, that are more highly advanced, is they're all us on just different frequencies. We are them.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, it's harder for me to be afraid if I know it's just it's just another version of me, maybe from a different dimension or a different level of advancement, or sometimes when
Well,
somebody's
it's like
dealing with
humans. There's
something
good and
low.
bad. There's good and bad ones.
Exactly. It's
But
on
I
an
will,
eternal spectrum, isn't it, of
yeah, I will
expression.
tell you, and I a small percentage of hauntings I believe are actually alien
Oh yes.
visitations.
Contact. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, because
I
I
agree with
see
you.
them, I could feel them when I walk in, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I am not doing this. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you. No,
And
call
then I'm
Deb.
over here. Boo, boo, boo,
I'm like,
boo, boo.
give Deb a call. I don't mess with aliens, and I gotta tell you, the town I live in is one of the number one UFO
Hotspot.
hotspots, and in the late 70s, they did A&E did a show on it. This
Cool.
area. And when I first started dating my husband, he took me for a ride around the town. And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, what type of fencing? There was a black spot in the grass and police tape." And I said, he said, "Well, they said a spaceship landed there, and the land didn't clear yet. Like it's been like that
Yeah.
for years. It finally, like now it's
It was
gone.
marked. Yeah.
But it's crazy." And I watched the A&E show on it. But I have seen UFOs while I was here. I was sitting outside, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of a sudden I'd seen this thing hovering, but it was further away. It was over New York, because I'm
Yeah.
right across from Manhattan,
Yeah.
and it's hovering, and all of a sudden it went really. I'm like, "Oh, good night, everyone." Like, I've seen it too many times. When I went camping, I was watching. I forget where we were in Pennsylvania, and you could see everything clearly, and there was just a bunch and like just going up and down. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. Why?
I didn't get that.
Oh,
Could you try again?
oh, see? They're
Oh
listening.
yeah. Marty wants to rub
Marty,
your orb.
we're
That's
friends with Marty. He's
I
picking
know,
on me.
Marty's awesome.
So I was on the USS Blue Ridge in 2008. I was on a little 6-month party cruise on the
Is that what they're calling it these
party
days?
cruise? Yeah, it was a party cruise.
Yeah.
And that's the head ship of the 7th Fleet, which is based in Japan. Anyway, so we're headed back to Japan, and the ship heads right straight into a typhoon. So it's 90 knot winds, 40-foot seas, 50-foot seas. The ship is doing this, and almost everybody on the ship is throwing up.
Sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Crazy Bob, he's going up onto the bridge where I had to have a rope tie me to the side of the superstructure to keep me from blowing off while I went into the bridge.
Ooh,
So I
No,
got there and
dude.
closed the door, and I'm just enjoying it. There's this wild bucko ride, and all of a sudden, I notice there's no rain falling on the ship. And I said, we're in the middle of a typhoon, and there's no rain falling on the ship. And everybody in the whole place was busy. So I walk forward, I look out this window and look up, and there is a glow right above the ship
no.
that's bigger than
on
the
the
ship.
ship. I
As
have
soon
no
as
doubt.
I notice it, it gets brighter and goes boom and takes off.
Wow.
And there was a big old hole. And then a few seconds later, the rain started again.
Love it.
Oh, wow.
I love it
I
so
couldn't
much.
see the structure, but the lights were unmistakable.
I love it.
Badass Bob.
Crazy life.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Well, I hate that we've come to the end of our hour, so I want
Me
you
too.
guys
This was fun.
Yeah.
to promote stuff, anything you want, and please send us links for anything, and we'll put it in the YouTube description file. So
Oh,
people can
awesome.
find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so April, what do you want to tell people about?
Oh, all right. So if anyone wants to book a reading with me, or see my events or where I'm going to be doing appearances. I can't talk. I'm not even drinking tonight. I'm drinking iced tea. No. Intuitiveapril.com. And also if anyone, ghostedmagazine.com. We sold out of our last issue. Our last issue had
Nice.
Kazar, Kim Russo,
That's awesome.
Patty Negri, of course. And also I'm having an event, a huge event, and it's called the Supernatural Soiree. And it's with my business partner and our friends from Get Haunted. We are going to be on the Battleship, New Jersey, in Camden, New
Nice.
Jersey. We are having a red carpet, huge party. And we're going to have some vendors there. It's going to be like a freak show coming in. We're going to be coming in on a red carpet. It's going to be 360 cameras.
Do you know,
I
I know the most amazing face painting artist who has painted at the White House multiple times.
Oh, get out of here.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
She's
I have to
amazing.
talk to you. But yeah, we're still looking for vendors and sponsors, but we have celebrities coming. There's going to be a midnight seance with Patty Negri.
Nice.
There's going to be a DJ, the 360 cameras. There's other celebrities there. We're not announcing them yet, but there's no waiting online. The celebrities are all going to be at the party with us.
That's
It's
great.
one-shot payment, go there. There's no lines, nothing. They're going to be hanging out with us with the DJ. There's a bar. There's food. It's just going to be a huge party from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Wow.
So
Nice.
we are going all
Fun.
night, baby.
That's all right. Send that stuff to us, and we'll
I will.
blast it
Thank you.
everywhere. All right, Debs, what you got?
People can get hold of me at my website, debshakti.com, DEBZSHAKTI.com. All my socials are under that Deb Shakti name. Most of them. I got banned from one of them this week,
I
so
don't
we're
know
trying to
what
get
this
it back.
is with Facebook trying to
Yeah.
ban people that do
It's weird.
odd things.
Yeah, but I didn't, you know me. I
know you don't do it. Yeah, right.
But anyway, I'm that's in appeals. But anyway, all socials, everything, my YouTube channel,
I'm going
everything.
to follow you, Deb.
Oh, I follow you too.
So let me put in a plug. Debs, for people who are listening, who have feared regression, don't fear regression with Debs, because you're not left with a ton of ugly, nasty memories you have to deal with, because that's not how she does it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's very gentle, and it's what you need.
Well, look
So
at her.
I've had her do stuff. I've asked her for things. Rather than her guides giving her what I asked for, they gave me what I needed.
Exactly.
It was pretty awesome. Yours was really awesome. Both of you were pretty awesome. But I do it every day. It's great. And it's a specific
That's a
type that I
specific thing.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. If people ask me about them, now I know who I'm sending them to.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Thank
she's-
you. Same
she's
here.
amazing. She's
But
amazing.
I started out clinically trained and then developed with these other gifts,
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
comprehensive way of doing it. And then the other thing,
And
sorry,
she
my
talks
dog is
to
snoring.
ET. No,
My dog's snoring really loudly. I'm sorry.
I thought I
Um,
heard that before. I'm like, that sounds like a dog snoring.
It
I'm like,
is. But the every year I'm part of leading a huge retreat usually it's in the fall. This year it's uh, right after Labor Day weekend. It's September 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and it's called the Contact Modalities Tour. And so
ooh.
it started out just teaching people how to make human initiated ET contact, and we have tons of contact. It's up in northern Wisconsin at a very remote but beautiful resort,
wow.
lake resort. And but this is our 6th year. We've developed it to not just doing skywatch at night, but we teach yoga, breath work, all the things to enhance your vibrational state so you can make contact with lots of different types of human
That's
intelligence
how
or
you do it.
consciousness.
I
And
believe
so,
that.
yeah, and so I'll be teaching some of those classes and another class that kind of brings the neuroscience into it, that it also incorporates art, Lala. So it's kind of something that's up your alley. But we also have a lot of really great celebrity presenters coming this year. Scott Walter, who's been on Gaia TV and Ancient Aliens and all of that.
Yeah.
His partner Haley Ramsey. They talk about the Knights Templar
Oh,
and in the Americas starting the new Atlantis, and that ties in ETs as well. Like there's all of this stuff you wouldn't think was at all connected. It's all connected, and it is the craziest rabbit hole you'll ever go down. So that's really exciting. And we also have Bill Holman, who is
Nice.
the caregiver or the caretaker of the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull. We're going to be doing Crystal Skull stuff and skull activations, and just so much more.
that
There's just
sounds
too much.
great.
So you get on my website, and there's all the information there, and you'll be able to go and sign up. It's limited. We only have so many cabins for so many people.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh,
we
that
love
sounds
to have
so
people.
cool.
It is so cool. We have so much fun. It's ETs, it's angels. It's last year we had some very famous physical mediums come, and we had seance, and oh my God, the stuff that happened last year was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited. And
Especially all that energy, man. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
so
that's
cool.
part of what we do is we foster heart coherency within the group of participants. And so this huge energy field is there, and we attract all kinds, of great consciousness. So
Yeah.
My
that's what's
personal-
going on. Yeah.
My personal experience, I'll tell people who have seen or thought or heard, you go to any event where a lot of things are occurring and you break down all of this. I don't believe in this. And once the
Yeah.
belief is broken down, then you get the hitchhiker effect, and
Yeah.
stuff will follow you home. And
The
I mean, I'm
dam
not
breaks.
bad stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff. And then your gifts start becoming more
Oh, yeah.
enhanced.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's part of this too.
absolutely.
We teach a lot about how to enhance your own gifts and use them. I teach remote viewing and channeling and things like that. So that's
When
what's
is
going
it?
on.
September what?
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Oh, that's during the week.
Yeah. Yeah, it is right after Labor Day. I think
Oh,
it
okay.
starts on Tuesday, but a lot of people will come in that weekend, and because there's great fishing and boating and hiking and a plethora of things to do up there. It's just
Beautiful
wonderful.
lakes. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, we really, really, really thank both of you for coming on. We
You guys
love
are
these
so
roundtables.
awesome.
You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
She's
You
been
guys-
looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it for multiple weeks, and glad you came.
Yeah.
I
And to
have
the
too.
audience, who do we have next week? Forgot.
Oh my God! Don't put me
Okay,
on the
no, I
spot.
won't put her on the spot. We'll put up an announcement soon. But we are not having trouble finding guests. It's her. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
She is
go,
amazing.
Who did you get this
Is,
week?
and she's
They're always amazing.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
Every time I look at, I'm like, this is this girl a friggin' model? Who is this girl?
I know.
Right? I'm like,
No.
who is this?
Someday I just want you to come or me come there and you can give me a makeover so I can actually, it's just
I
crazy.
would
Your
love
makeup's
that.
always so
she
beautiful.
loves to do the makeup stuff. She'll bring her makeup stuff.
Mhm.
All right. Thank everybody.
All right, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
everybody.
you. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Good
Good night,
night.
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
And
Much
we'll
love.
see you soon when we come back for the next one.